Coming up on Texas Home Improvement.
So when you're vacuuming this stuff out, right now in everybody's head, they're seeing a 5-gallon shop vac. How are you getting this stuff out?
So pulling out this blower wheel is what I'm about to do now. And the reason why we do this is because of all the dirt and dust that is built up on there.
Smile. You woke up in Texas.
I'm Jim Dutton, and I've been a contractor here in the great state of Texas for over 40 years.
It ain't a good day till we tear something up. Tools make the job.
To help as many people as I possibly could, I started a radio show over 20 years ago. Now to help even more people, I'm rolling up my sleeves and hitting the road.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, look how beautiful it is.
In Texas, most contractors don't have to have a license, so it's buyer beware.
And that's what you get when you hire a bootleg contractor.
You don't know what you're talking about. I've been building homes for over...
Yeah, and I've been fixing homes for over 40 years because of people like you. It doesn't work in Texas. This is Texas Home Improvement.
You know, I got an interesting email the other day about an organic insulation for houses, and I had to look it up. I went on the internet, took a look at it, and I found it to be something that may be real viable to be using. So I had to make arrangements to go look at it because I got some big questions. One is organic. Are rodents, bugs, and things like that going to want to eat this stuff? Two, it's organic. How well is it going to work as an insulating property? And then three, of course, again, it's organic. Is this stuff going to degrade over time? So I read up as much as I could, but you know, nothing beats going and looking at a product. So I'm going to head out to one of their job sites and actually take a look at the product. So what is Milo insulation? What sets it apart from all other insulation companies?
Well, Milo insulation is a natural plastic that is made from grain sorghum that we have developed into a insulation. What separates it is the fact that it looks like a packing peanut, but the inside of it contains tiny air pockets.
Okay.
And that's important because whenever you initially install, traditional blow-in insulation, it's nice and fluffy, and that's because there's a lot of air in there, and that
Right.
trapped air is what actually creates the thermal barrier. Over time, that air escapes and it flattens and shrinks and starts losing its R value. With Milo, if you were to take one of those peanuts and break it open, you would notice there's thousands of little tiny air bubbles on the inside, and because the air always remains on the inside of the product, it maintains its R value. Milo has virtually zero shrinkage, so once it settles, it creates an amazing thermal blanket that is there for the life of the home. You never have to re-insulate because the air always remains on the inside of the product.
Probably your biggest question is always, how do you keep bugs and mice and rats and things, squirrels, from eating it?
Well, there's two good answers to that, Jim. In the first place, the way we process the grain, we remove all of the proteins and the fats.
Right.
So it's not a food source anymore.
Okay.
So they're not attracted to it. The next thing we do is we toss it in boric powder, and it makes it flame resistant, but it also makes it bug resistant. Bugs
Right.
don't like the borax any more than the flame does.
So this product is made from all natural stuff. Where's it come from?
It comes from farmers that we've got in Texas, and we've got a network of about 14 farmers from Perryton, Texas, which is right up close to the Oklahoma border, all the way down to McAllen. So we've got about 14 farmers throughout the state of Texas that actually produce the sorghum and send it to us in Tulia, Texas, where it's all processed.
We're going through that long a distance. You just passed through 3 different weather cycles in a matter
That
of...
was the specific reason why we did it that way. If one region had a bad crop year for whatever reason, we would have other regions that we can choose from to make sure that we have a good supply and we're not into a supply shortage.
Right, and I'm assuming you would have almost a year-round supply that way because their growing seasons are different.
That's correct. We actually have 2 different growing seasons that for us that we get shipments in, but we usually stay about a year ahead in supply, so that we always make sure that we have enough material so that there's not a supply chain shortage.
All right, so we're out on a job site today. What exactly are you doing on this house?
Well, on this house, what we're doing is a removal and replace. Part of the reason why we are doing the removal on this one, the homeowner here has some allergy problems. So a lot of people don't realize is that attic is the primary source of dust and allergens coming into the home.
Yep.
And so whenever we do a removal, we come in and we vacuum out all of the old insulation along with just all the dirt and junk that collects up there over the years. Then we come back in and we foam seal the attic, meaning we foam seal around all of your can lights, all of your air conditioning return vents, all of the electric plates for ceiling fans, any holes.
Basically eliminating the dust coming.
That is correct. We basically seal off the attic from the house. Then we come back in and we put in fresh Milo or Milex, which is hypoallergenic. And that can dramatically improve the quality of the air within inside of the home. So if there's anyone that struggles with allergies, then that can give them some nice needed relief while they're at home.
So when you're vacuuming this stuff out, right now in everybody's head, they're seeing a 5-gallon shop vac. How are you getting this stuff out?
No, we have a 36 horsepower vacuum that has long hoses that vacuums. We come into a big, huge bag that's 75 cubic feet. It's about 4 feet around, and then it's about 6 feet tall. So we have a series of bags that we're blowing in. So we remove all of the old insulation. It's just not, we're not just blowing it out into the air. It's being contained, and we take it to the hazardous dump site. So
why hazardous?
Well, it's old fiberglass,
okay.
So it would be considered a hazardous material. So that's why we take it to the dump and have to dispose of it properly.
Okay. All right, Todd. So obviously this is how you're getting material out to the job site. But what do we got going in the corner here?
Well, we move everything in bulk, and we load the trailer with the Milo, and then these guys here, what they do is they're scooping the Milo and putting it into the hopper. This is a big giant insulation blower that blows it into the home.
All right, so in getting set up, I noticed you guys have put some boards along the plywood edges. What is that for?
Correct. That's what we call a plywood retaining board. What it is used for is for two things. It actually allows the insulation to build up along the edges of the decking or walkways so that it doesn't, because otherwise you have to just taper it off.
Right, and we're covering up our plywood then. And
that's correct.
Not knowing where the edges are.
That's correct. So the other thing is that it keeps the insulation back from the edges, so it allows it, keeps it nice and clean. We also use that board for maybe areas of the house where there might be a vaulted ceiling or a raised ceiling, and we'll use that to help hold the insulation in, and again allow the inches to build up properly along the edges. Otherwise, it'll just cascade off the sides.
And it's that simple? We're done then?
It's that simple.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple process.
Okay. Re-insulating your home doesn't have to be complicated, but there is a game-changing product out there. It's USA Insulation. Their non-expansive foam gets the job done right without tearing up the walls in your home. All right, we're here with Brian from USA Insulation. We're going to talk about some insulation today. And Brian, welcome back to Texas Home Improvement.
Thank you, Jim. I'm glad to be back with you.
I get a lot of air infiltration.
Yes, and that happens. What year was your house built?
73.
There you go. So with the older homes, when we go through and insulate those exterior walls, we're putting in, it's an insulation that fills the entire cavity tight, keeps the air from coming through. It gives you a R25 in those exterior walls, and most of our customers are getting around a 42 to 47% drop in their electricity bill because the exterior walls are a big source of heat coming through or cold during the winter, and it's about 58% of what's exposed to the outside.
The R11 in a 2x4 stud wall, it's even sloppy in there. I mean, it doesn't even fill the whole cavity.
No, it doesn't. And so when we do the injection foam, it actually takes that R11, it's going to compress it down to some degree, about a 1/16 of an inch, and then this injection foam fills that entire cavity, sealing it up, and it helps keep the heat from coming through. If it's brick or hardy board, it slows down the progression into your sheetrock and into your home. So when you get it done, you can actually set your air at 72, the walls will remain, and it keeps that unit from running over and over during the day. This house here that we're doing today, we're re-insulating it with injection foam.
Okay.
It's where we go from the exterior of the house on the exterior walls and inject the foam into the cavities all around the house, bringing up the R value, more importantly, bringing down the energy costs. So when we're filling up the cavity, it seals it up tight, and the foam is water resistant, bug resistant. Actually, it slows down allergens coming through the house. It reduces outside noise up to 80%.
So what's the life expectancy of the foam?
Let me put it like this. We've been injecting homes for 35 years and have had no problems.
All right, so one of the key things here is you're drilling through people's mortar.
Yes.
And obviously they don't want to see a bunch of buttons in the wall, so how are you fixing this?
Okay, so when we go through and we're drilling, we remortar back up those holes and we match the mortar. Now, mortar takes about 30 days to cure, so it does look a little wet, but as it dries, it blends in with the original mortar.
Right.
And so we wipe it through, and you can't tell after it dries where the hole was or wasn't.
When I was out and watched the process being done, typically when you think about something like spray foam being done, we've all seen the pictures of it expanding and making a mess and having to be cut. I didn't see that on your job.
First thing we want to start with is checking our gauges and our pressures for the resin, which is this tank here. And that's just a polyurethane based resin right there that creates the foam. And this is foaming agent, just basically soap and a special kind of soap and water. The resin will be your yellow hose running around.
So it's using a resin, not a two-part polymer mix then?
No, sir, just straight resin, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
And it comes straight to this manifold here, where you want your gauge to read about a 200 PSI, and the temperature has to be around 75 degrees for us to make good foam. Your foaming agent here goes through your red hose. You want it to be at 100 PSI, and you want your temperature to be around the same 75 to 80.
So that temperature is 75, you guys are creating that, that's not the outside temperature?
No, sir, no, sir. Since obviously this is Texas, we have provisions just in case it gets too hot.
Yeah.
We have a chill box in the back, and in the winter we have a heater in the back to help us cool it down. So the products flow through these valves. They start coming together here in the shaft.
Right.
And start mixing together. This is where the foam is made in the mixing chamber. The air, the foaming agent, the resin all combine here, and it shoots out the foam. So this is our standard hose. Standard hose has to be like 7 feet long in order to go far enough down into the cavity.
No, that's not right. Now you're taking all the weight, you don't have to stand there.
Exactly. You put it together like a Ghostbuster suit and you have a pretty easy day. So, all right, so you're gonna just clear out your lines. And the texture we're looking for is a shiny, warty or bumpy texture like this here.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So you stop it there. Now within 6 seconds, you should be able to break this foam apart. It starts curing immediately. It doesn't cure until, fully cure until 3 days to a week, but just to make sure that you're making good enough foam, you see how it breaks apart?
Yep.
Within 6 seconds, you want to make sure it breaks apart, just to make sure you're having good solidified foam.
Make it look like a nice meringue.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Brian, I appreciate you letting me come over and kind of disturb this job a little bit, slow the workers down, sorry about that.
Not at all.
But I need to get you out to my house.
I'd love to. Anytime, let me know and I'll be out there. And we appreciate you coming out.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Brian, let's talk about the cleaning for a second. You guys offered at a great discounted price, but what all are you doing?
So we go through the entire unit from A to Z, top to bottom. It's actually a 62-point maintenance that we go through. Both the indoor unit, the furnace or the air handler, and the outside unit. First and foremost, we go through and we see how it's working. And then we go through and we take everything apart and we clean everything.
Okay.
You know, dirt, dust, and debris. It's the #1 killers of furnaces and air conditioners. And almost every time a breakdown is due to a lack of maintenance. Well, what good is a maintenance if we don't actually clean all the dirt out that's causing those breakdowns in the first place? We put it all back together and then go through and make sure everything's working in tip-top shape, saving you money on your electric bills, preventing those breakdowns, and ultimately helping your system last as long as possible.
I'd really like to go out and see one day.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we've got somebody here in the area. We can go pop in on one.
Hey, Brian, how's it going, man? It's good to see you.
This is Mr. Jim Dutton.
Hey, Mr. Dutton. Colin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was just telling him what we do on our tune-ups, and he asked if we could go pop in on one and take a look. So here we are.
I love it when people pop in. Most of the time the homeowners are here, but I actually just finished the performance baseline, which is kind of establishing the system before we get started with the cleanup. We want to make sure everything's working properly. That way we can show the homeowner the improvements that we make by the time the tune-up is done. Believe it or not, I was just getting ready to start with the first phase of actually cleaning, which is pulling apart the outdoor unit, getting it cleaned up, getting it tuned up. This one's a doozy. Let's go over there and take a look. Well, Brian, Jim, just before you guys pulled up, here's where I was getting ready to start on. This is the AC portion of the unit, half of it at least. I'm getting ready to pull it apart. We're gonna get it all cleaned up. As you can see, this system's been neglected a little bit. We're gonna get that cleaned up and make sure that by the time we're done here, the homeowner's not gonna have any concerns whatsoever. We're gonna make sure that this system's running as efficiently as possible. This unit sucks in air from the sides, and what it does, the way that it expels the heat is up through the top. So we wanna make sure that you've got a good clean area around the space. We wanna make sure that these fins that are inside the unit as well are clean and free of debris. The better that this system can pull in air and expel the heat, the better efficiently the system's gonna run for the homeowners, as well as result in lower utility bills. Well, I'm gonna get started, guys. Feel free to watch, and we'll get this thing cleaned up. You're gonna see a whole new system by the time we're done. What I'm doing right now is I put a solution on here that's gonna pull the dirt out of these fins. So we're gonna get this foam to pull the dirt out. When you see this thing, once I get it washed off and cleaned off, it's gonna look like a whole different coil. You know, when we come up into somebody's attic, a lot of times, people think this is where the heater is or furnace. Believe it or not, half of your air conditioner is up here as well. One of the biggest things that this component up here does is it moves all of the air through your home.
Right.
Whether it's in heating or cooling season. If we're not moving the proper amount of air, we're not gonna have the proper efficiency, and we're not gonna have the longevity that we want. So pulling out this blower wheel is what I'm about to do now. And the reason why we do this is because of all the dirt and dust that is built up on there. Well, Jim, Brian, I finished getting this wheel cleaned up. As you can see, you guys saw how dirty and dingy it was before, black. You almost couldn't see any of the silver. This thing looks practically brand new.
Yeah.
Now the good thing is we were able to catch this before it became a problem. You know, when you have all that excess on there, it can result in rusting and pitting of these fins. And like same thing with the unbalance of the dirt, you can actually have the unbalance of the wheel on this as well. So ensuring that we pull and clean these each time we come out for a maintenance is key to increasing the longevity of a customer system.
Well, Brian, I appreciate you letting me come out and see one of your jobs.
Yeah, it's been great. I hope you saw really what differentiates us and really what makes our tune-up the best here in town.
Oh, that's a step above anything I've ever seen before. Really a big difference.
Yeah, it's a pleasure of ours to really give people put some money back into their pocket with their efficiency, and really glad we had the opportunity to show you what we do.
All right, well, I'm gonna get out of your hair. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Hey, got a question during the week? Go to our website, thipro.com, and click on the Ask Jim button. If you're looking for a great contractor, one that'll treat you fair and get the job done right, go to thipro.com and take a look at the contractors in your area that I've already checked out. Hey, got a question about your project? Join me on News Talk 820 WVAP every Saturday at 12 o'clock. You can call in, ask your question, and get your project going. What about existing homes? Well, that's easy. Okay, so the backsplash, it's really coming along now. All we have left is to put those last few tiles on the back.
The first take was good. You want
No, we're gonna do it again.
Okay.
More? Overheating, probably.